Start recording. Okay, and now we are live. Let's wait for people to waltz on in here before we get into it. But yeah, we'll give it a minute here.
All right.
I will pull up YouTube on the other screen as well and make sure we well, not that screen. We'll do it live. That's got to be one of the all-time videos. We'll do it live.
Yeah, it doesn't get enough love.
It really doesn't.
Pull up YouTube on the other screen as well. Make sure the.
Okay, good. So the audio is working. That's good.
Yep.
Nice.
Tweet this out real quick.
Yeah. I'll tweet out the link too. Oh, we're almost at 2,000 subscribers too. This is exciting. This will be fun.
Yeah, saw that.
Didn't realize we were at like 1.5 a couple weeks ago. It's nice.
Yeah, once the season kicked in and then all the different pods and stuff we've been running. And
Yep.
Dennis and I had like 600 live at one point today.
Wow. 600.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. I might need to grab a beer at some point. We'll see. We'll start.
I've got my root beer from Arby's.
There you go.
Like a man.
Like a real root beer.
I don't have any of my drinks here.
I got some Soft Parade in the fridge, but I haven't had dinner yet. I'll have that afterwards, but we'll see. I just got back from a run, so I'm like need to chill.
I got here from the office like half an hour ago.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
All right. So welcome to episode 1 of Cut Up's Film Room, brought to you by Maize and Blue Review. I am Trevor McHugh, staff writer with Maize and Blue Review, being joined by the main attraction of this video podcast. Dennis called him the Wizard today.
The Wizard?
And you know what, the Wizard. You know, I just realized, Toski, I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
Ooh, you got to try it.
All right, so I'm here with Steven Asintoski.
There you go. You got it.
Asintoski?
You did it.
Let's go. All right.
Look at you.
We're going to be McHugh and Toski, though, because I don't want to butcher that later.
McHugh and Toski. I like that.
Yeah, we'll just do that. So, all right, guys. So, obviously, like I said, Cut Up's Film Room. This is a film analysis video podcast. We're going to take a look at, whatever big plays from Michigan's previous game or, whatever the topic of discussion seems to be coming out of that game. And obviously, after facing arguably the worst team in college football last weekend, the biggest story continues to be J.J. McCarthy. Is what Jim Harbaugh called near perfect and flawless performance against Hawaii. So what we're going to do here is break down JJ's plays, go through why he was nearly flawless, why he was almost perfect, what he brings that's a different element to the Michigan offense, and what we can kind of expect scheme-wise now that we know he is the starting quarterback moving forward. So Toski, first off, thank you. You and I have obviously known each other for a long time, gone back and forth. I've been a fan of yours and your ascension, and then obviously it's just really cool that you and I are on the same team now, so I'm super excited to do this.
Yeah, man.
So thank you.
No, this is great. You've been doing great work at Maize Blue Review, and I took a little hiatus over the summer, and happy to come back and be able to break this down, man. This is fun stuff. This is what I love to do. This is Same. Why I'm here. So I'm happy to be back here and have this time to break this down. It'll be fun.
I'm probably gonna have to fake it a little bit. I think I'm an X's and O's guy, but you're a whole nother level. But,
oh man, yeah. You'll get there. You'll get to my level. Don't worry. You'll get there quickly.
But before we get into the film itself, give me a little bit of. I mean, I know the whole topic's kind of been beat to death in terms of the way the competition was ended with Cade getting the start, JJ getting the start, etc. But more specifically, what were you, I guess, either expecting or looking for with JJ's first start coming into this game?
Yeah, I think the main thing that I was looking for was just more. Like up until this point, we saw a lot of glimpses. We saw kind of the change up that he provided to what we had always expected out of Cade McNamara. And it was always tantalizing on what he would be when he put it all together. But we just never really got to see a full drive, get to see him in different scenarios where we got to see him in like a 2-minute drill at the end of the first half and see how he deals with that. So going into this, I was just excited to see him drive over drive. How would he respond to a mistake? How would he respond to certain scenarios? And I mean, just watching him, I was fortunate enough to be in the stadium. Just watching him, he was really excited. So it was pretty fun to watch him take hold of the opportunity, and it was something where I expected him to kind of bring that excitement. I didn't expect there to be exactly about 0 negative things for him to respond to. Right. I expected there to be a little bit more hiccups. You very accurately mentioned this is probably one of the worst teams in FBS football. Probably some FCS teams would give Hawaii a run for sure. But even so, there were a lot of opponent invariant things going through his progressions, delivering a good deep ball. He was much better at prioritizing protecting his body. He only had 1 run, I think, for 16 yards. But I mean, like you said, near flawless, right? And the one pass that he didn't complete, 11 for 12, the one he didn't was in the hands of Ronnie Bell, and you could argue should have been caught. But we'll get to that play. So that was it, man. Heading into this one, it was just more. Just give me a full drive, get me drive over drive, see how he performs. And I mean, you can't ask for a better day. It was pretty incredible to watch. And bummer for Cade McNamara, but I know Brandon Justice had a quote from Ryan Hayes today where Cade McNamara walked in the door as usual with a smile on his face, and he's a captain. So yeah. I'm entering today and this week with the luxury of knowing that Michigan has honestly one of the best depth charts in Michigan quarterback history, and are sitting in a really pretty spot heading into the rest of the season, at least at this point.
Yeah, I'll echo a little bit of what you said real quick, and then we can jump right in. I think having JJ actually know he's the starter and he's going to be playing multiple series and being able to get a rhythm was probably what I was most excited for, versus when he's coming in as a part of a special package, he's just another player on the offense at that point, right? There's a lack of control, if you will, that you typically see from a quarterback running the offense. And that was the thing we didn't know if he could do. And I think we saw that. I've been touching on the Cade stuff, for a few weeks now. And I think just worth repeating again, man, those boos were really unfortunate to hear. And I know a lot of people, we've spent 9 months kind of picking sides in this JJ versus Cade debate. I think the one good thing of it being over is it's over. And I think, the players, the team, and fans can all move on. And I hope the next time Cade steps on the field, he gets some cheers and, the recognition he deserves for what he did last year. Yeah. It's okay that he lost the job, right? Sometimes somebody's better. It's okay. And I think he's better than we've seen in the past 2 games. He was just having a tough time because he knew as well as we all did that, like you said, JJ really took the reins. This wasn't starting QB by default. This was a guy that really took the job. So why don't you go ahead and get us started? Let's take a look at him taking this job from Cade McNamara.
Yeah, let's dive into play 1 right here. This is first quarter here, 12:54, 1st and 10, right around midfield here. Let's go through the play full speed, and then we'll dive into kind of the slow replay, and I'll click through and annotate as we go here. Give me a second, as the software always wants to act up when I'm pressing play here. So obviously got a little play action pass here, and I mean, second play from scrimmage, first pass, and you can't do much better than that, right? Deep pass here, Roman Wilson. We are lucky enough to get the all-22 of this, and you'll notice right away you got cover 0 for Hawaii here. Both safeties rushing up here, and that means you're going to have man-to-man coverage on the outside. And Harbaugh has a history of doing this thing where if it's Andrel Anthony against Michigan State, if it's Jabril Peppers against Rutgers, and I 1,000% believe that they had this play dialed up they had Roman Wilson running this against Hawaii, right? He's from Hawaii. It's a really fun thing to do. So the routes for this one, you got a deep out for Johnson. Where's Johnson? Top of your screen here. So I think he goes probably around here. I'd have to watch it again here. Bell on a similar, I think, inside release deep in route. You got just up the seam here for Wilson, and then a in route for Eric All. I think he comes through the center here and a little in route here. So play action, right? You get cover 0, and this is just pretty simple for JJ McCarthy, right? He's got his play action pass. His eyes, if we're looking right here, his eyes are just going right at this safety, right? You see the safety scream up. You know you're getting man-to-man here. And when you have Roman Wilson, who's a 4-2 guy, that just screams, throw me the ball. And already the separation, right, over that like 5-7 yards. I mean, he's got 3 yards easy. And you know, the ball you could argue is maybe slightly underthrown here, right? Wilson is kind of turning around a little bit, but when you have this much separation, cover 0, there's no need to hit him directly in stride, right? He slows up maybe just a little bit, a half step there, but completely fine with that, right? Recognize the coverage, recognize the space, and that's exactly what you want with that kind of throw. So, you know, I think maybe Michigan got a little fortunate here that you're in cover 0. Why Hawaii decided to do cover 0 in this scenario? You got me. You got to know that when Roman Wilson is in the slot there, you know, I don't want to hit on number 9 here a little bit, but you got to give that guy, some help. We got a question here from Florida. Is that an RPO or play action? This looks,
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, this looks pure pure play action, mainly because it doesn't really look like this is something where you see Blake Corum running the ball here. It looks like he is looking for a pass block all the way here. So it's not it doesn't look like he's looking to run the ball here. If anything, it looks like
another tell here is Eric All. You know, All in that motion is normally going to be a lead blocker, and you can see he knows right away he's on a passing route, so he's not looking to set a block. So yeah, I'm with you. That's pure play action.
Yep. So pure play action there. And I think a clever little thing about this is this does kind of look like RPO, and usually out of the RPO that you do have out of the slot, we'll see a touchdown later on from Ronnie Bell here, is you'll see a little slant action here. So he kind of sells this a little bit, Roman Wilson does, before heading up here. And I think that probably also freezes the defensive back just a hair because of that little inside motion, and then he turns on the jets, right?
Oh, you're right.
So I don't know if that's by design, but you know, kind of messing with that head action from JJ McCarthy, that's useful to have. So So yeah,
because if that is a post there, he wants to try and get inside of him.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as he turns his hips to cut, he's like, "Oh no, he's blowing by me. It's
right.
Too late."
Yeah, and if the ball is to be thrown, right, if this is an RPO, the ball would be thrown right about here. So number 9, if he's thinking that this is a post or a slant, whatever it may be, I need to start making contact with him right about here because I need to be looking for the ball. And as soon as you start moving this way and Roman Wilson decides to turn on the jets, I mean, you see the separation that creates. So it's game over, man. There's nothing you can really do if you're Hawaii and you got a 4-2 guy with the right play call against a cover 0. So that's really good. And here, again, just an alternate angle. Again, nothing you can really do better. And simple pitch and catch. And, I think at this point you're off to the races, and Michigan surely was. So it was fun. That's the way to start the game. We should petition for Michigan to start every single game like that. I'm calling for it.
Absolutely.
All right. You good to move into the second play here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it. All right. 10:40 left, 2nd and 8 here. Let's run through the play first. Let me know. Can you hear the audio when I press play here? We'll see. It plays for me. I'm not sure if
I didn't on the last one, no.
Okay. I think I have it muted. That's kind of what I want anyway. All right, Jason McCarthy here delivering across here to Ronnie Bell. And a nice pickup after the catch here. Was that pickup 25? Way more than that, probably 30-ish yards here. So let's first look at the coverage. It looks like a form of cover 2, man-to-man. You see both safeties initially dropping back here. So you got man coverage here. Outside linebacker 17 right here. He's going to be picking up Blake Corum. He's coming out of the backfield here. You'll have the defensive back number 23 right here. Where is he? Eric All is headed up on a seam right here. So Eric All is going to head up the seam. 23 is going to take and follow him here. So I'll call this out. And you also have man-to-man coverage right here. This is Roman Wilson. He's running kind of a sit route. He's just going to run here and sit right at the 40. What else do we got? All is actually going to go initially on this seam route, and then he's going to kind of similarly sit on the 40-yard line as well. So the main read here after the clear out that Johnson opens up here, all of this is opening up the crossing route here, and this little, I don't know what you want to call, a little action between Eric All and Roman
Not quite
Wilson.
a pick, but almost.
Yeah,
right?
a little bit. But you notice everyone that I've kind of called out here, like this guy's gone, this guy's gone. You got both safeties gone. They're dropping back. This guy is on a clear out here, so he's going to be out of the coverage here. The only guy that's really leaves is this middle linebacker. And this middle linebacker having to pick up Ronnie Bell, who's going to be going at full speed. And for this guy to try to pick that up and go stride for stride with Ronnie Bell, that's just a disaster waiting to happen. So this is something that I feel Michigan must have scouted pretty well in this package, what the coverage is traditionally from Hawaii. So let's just run this a little bit just so you can see kind of the route progression here and just see how everything kind of clears out, right? And that's what the design here is. With the safeties dropping back, all the routes are either clearing out or kind of moving all the momentum here, right? Even though this is kind of just up the field, this is taking this defensive back away. Take everyone away from here. Get their momentum taken away from this crossing route. And especially with this as well, even though this isn't the responsibility of the linebacker here, right? 47 is going to follow this. This just kind of motion of the running back naturally is taking this linebacker this way. So everyone's momentum to react to this play is going away from Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell's really the only guy streaking across this way. If we look at the eyes here of J.J. McCarthy, he's looking at this linebacker. He's probably looking a little bit deeper too towards what the reaction of these safeties are as well, right? If you have one of these safeties coming up or screaming up, maybe you'll go to a different read here. But given that linebacker's reaction here, you know you're going to have that crossing route open. So I think that's just a first read right away. Again, seems like something Michigan scouted pretty well to get that guy open. And the rest is just Ronnie Bell just operating in space against the linebacker, right? Number one actually takes a pretty decent angle here to mitigate the damage, right? Because Ronnie Bell does make that guy miss. And if number one here doesn't take a decent enough angle after the catch, then Ronnie Bell might be gone. So give credit for him to at least limit that, but Michigan got exactly what they wanted on this play, getting a linebacker on Ronnie Bell, and I don't care who you are, that's just not a matchup that you're going to want to watch.
Two big things stick out to me here. One, this is 2 plays after the deep ball to Wilson, right? So this is just respecting the fact that Michigan has shown you they're not scared to throw it deep. Right. So that's why we're seeing cover 2, these 2 safeties dropping back, opening up the middle of the field. And then this throw by JJ, last year that might have been a bullet, right? I think that was a big thing talking about JJ is understanding when to throw the changeup, right? So leading Bell perfectly here and not putting too much on it and giving him a chance to, because like you said, a lot of these play designs, this is about creating one-on-one matchups here. Athletes can win a play, right? So hitting him on the money, doesn't overthrow it, just lets his guy go work and gets an extra 15 yards out of it. But yeah, the respect not only of the run, but the deep ball that they've shown. And then, JJ taking the time. I think you're right, too. That is first read. Yep. It's not real complicated, but just make an easy throw, not gunning it in there. Shows a lot more composure from him.
Yeah, great point. And the only other thing, only 4 on the pass rush. Zinter gets beat pretty bad here. I think Blessman, is that his name? This defensive tackle, 55, I believe. And he puts on a really nice spin move, works inside his Zinter here. He actually got to Cade McNamara later on, the same guy with the same move, I believe. So something Zinter needs to improve on. This, maybe this defensive tackle for Hawaii is a dude, right? And could be one of the few dudes that Hawaii does actually have. He's one of their
better players. Yeah, there's not a lot, but he was one of the better ones. It wasn't a great game for Zinter. He did not grade well with his fellow offensive linemen. This wasn't the only play he got beat on. Yeah. Again, nothing I'm concerned about. Dude's an NFL talent, but
sure. But yeah, so he's lucky that that guy did kind of stumble, right? So if he didn't, he would have had a free shot at McCarthy. Might have thrown off the accuracy of that path, but
Yeah,
hey,
good point.
get the ball out first read. Even with that that lack of a perfect block, usually if you get to your first read, you're going to have success. And Michigan got what they wanted there. Florida said Zinter got beat a few times. Yep. And then U221, really analyzing performance against a high school team. Come on, man, get real. And that's a good point. Like a lot of these things, you do have to keep it in. You have to keep some things in perspective. That first play against Roman Wilson, right? He's not going to have 7 yards of separation.
Absolutely.
Some of these linebackers will be more athletic, but is the throw on time? Is he getting through his read progressions? Is he delivering the right kind of ball, like you said? Trevor, those are opponent invariant growth things and things that the offense are doing that, sure, why he's not the best team, but you still got to execute. And the offense, if they're executing, it will look at least similar against better teams. Maybe not the separation, maybe you have to make a contested catch here or there, but a lot of these things are opponent invariant, and you can still, we need to upgrade our Zoom. That's on the to-do list now, so we may need to reconvene here. But but we'll figure that out once we drop here. But okay, let's move on to play 3 here. This one, 10 minutes. This is, I think, the very next play after that throw to Ronnie Bell. We're gonna have some RPO action to break down on this one. Here, a little RPO. Oh, come on, now it wants to stutter on me. There we go. Little ball to Eric All. Not an easy ball. I think that's the first thing that I thought of when seeing this, right? This nice play action or nice RPO here. And this ball's not easy, right? No. It's a pretty small window to not disrupt. This is all about momentum for Eric All. How do you deliver the ball to him so that he can catch and turn up field? The quicker he can turn up field, that's all this is. This isn't supposed to be a huge, break the defense play. This is almost like pick up 5-6 yards and it's a win. And the less you can disrupt his momentum on this play, the better. So this is really playing off of the mobility of J.J. McCarthy, right? Because what you'll see later on is you can very easily turn this into an arc block, right? Where you'll have Eric All, instead of going out on a route, he can go out here and pick up a block. And then off of the fake here, J.J. McCarthy can keep and run, right? Pick up a block here, and that's what you get. So this is really making it really difficult for the defense to understand what's coming right here because you have that arc read keep option. But when he continues on, right, you're putting a bunch of players in conflict of, do I get upfield here for the potential addressing the block here that Eric All is going to come and try to block me on a QB keeper? Do I follow him out here and leave an open lane for the quarterback, right? There's a lot of things going on here. And it's, we don't get a great view of downfield. Let me check the other angle here just to make sure. Yeah, we don't really get a great view, so I'll stick with this one for now. But the main thing of note here is just how many different looks and how many different threats Michigan has off of this. So I think we'll look at the eyes here first for J.J. McCarthy. And he's looking at this defensive end primarily right here, who's just kind of shuffling down the line. If he either goes upfield or if he kind of gets depth, anything other than creeping down the line here, and you'll want to give here for Corum, because that'll mean there will be space up here. You'll have the number of offensive linemen that you need to block the box, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You got double, reach to the linebacker, double, reach to the linebacker, and that's your numbers. Based off of what this guy does, you have winning numbers in the box for a good 5 yards plus, and that's what you want. So if this guy adds himself to those numbers inside, right, then you explore your option, either quarterback run or delivering a ball to Eric All into the flat here. Since this guy goes down the line here, that's what we get. So you see, boom, down the line, I'm going to keep it now. So it looks like they're kind of doing a scrape exchange here. And what I mean by that is in an RPO look like that, you're going to have the defensive end crash down. This linebacker will replace, and he'll essentially replace the end here to deny any sort of quarterback run here. The issue with that is because you're taking your outside linebacker and moving him up here to defend this edge. There's no one to guard when you do have Eric All out here, right? You have this middle linebacker, 47 here. He has to cover all this ground. And look, he's already, what is this? Probably a good 3-4 yards of distance between that.
And he's got to be delayed because where Corum is heading is his gap.
Absolutely.
So he has to make sure Corum doesn't have the ball before he can start pursuing the other options.
Absolutely. So. And that's where his eyes are once he realizes, right, he's initially coming up, and then, I need to get out and guard this. And the safety's also being super aggressive coming up as well, and he gets caught too. So all this space here, the safety's running up because he's worried about the potential run. This guy had to stay home a little bit for Corum. Now he's out here. And that just spells a big gain for Eric All here. So, and like I said, tough throw, right? You maybe want this a little bit more. You could deliver it more towards his hands here. It's kind of towards his back shoulder, but Eric All's a really good tight end, right? And his ability to catch it on his shoulder, turn in stride, not lose any speed, that's part of what makes him such a great athletic tight end, and he maximizes his yards here, picks up a first down because of it. So, it's a good throw. It's where it has to be. The main thing, it's not low, right? He doesn't have to jump. He doesn't have to break stride. This maintains his momentum. But those little things of what make Eric All really good as a tight end, it benefits you in a play like this. It makes it from maybe a 5-6 yard pickup to a first down. So, yeah, again, just about executing those little things well. Understanding how Hawaii is going to defend these sort of reads with that sort of scrape exchange with the defensive end and outside linebacker, and then taking advantage of that mobility, the defense really reacting to the threat of J.J. McCarthy and having to stay home, taking advantage of that with an athletic tight end. So this is just using your weapons really well, understanding the athleticism at these positions that you have, and being able to maximize all of that to it looks easy because it is easy. So it's a really good job.
So also, I think this is probably one of the easiest demonstrations of Cade versus JJ, right? That defensive end is crashing hard.
Yep.
If that's Cade McNamara in there, and he has to respect JJ's ability to run there. So that, like you said, in terms of the numbers game, because you're not blocking that edge on purpose. That's the point of the play. You're leaving him alone, because if it's a give, he's going to run into the wall. And if it's, JJ keeping it, he's already got the leg advantage on him anyway. So, like you said, the two offensive, you've got two sets of offensive linemen in double team. They're going to go next level and get blocks, where the play is going to turn out this way. But yeah, just perfect illustration of what the actual threat of JJ does to an opposing defense. So,
sure.
So with us at 3 minutes, does it make sense to start over again before we jump into the next play here?
That's a good call. Yeah, let me send out another link here. I'll talk to the chat, and we'll get you back in here. Trevor, give me a hot second. Let me figure this out. Let's see. Does Corum seem a tad slower with all of that muscle? That's a good question. I wouldn't say he's necessarily slower. Maybe less explosive. I don't know. That's a really good question. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me figure out this Zoom thing. End meeting for all. Yeah, I don't know. It's a great question, right? And that's something it's something you really have to consider when you are adding muscle. How is this going to affect the other aspects of his game? So, yeah, maybe, right? We haven't really seen him enough against great competition to really say either way. But yeah, it's a possibility. Let me get Trevor back in here. Send link. Antoine, yeah, I think he is a tad slower. Florida. Oh, at least it seems like to me, I think he packed on some muscle so he could run in between the tackles more. Could be. I'm interested to hear what Trevor has to say on the topic as well. All right, we're back. Trevor, the question that we're asked here: does Blake Corum seem a little slower with the added muscle that he's had here?
Actually, I kind of thought, well, see, it's tough because he looks quicker to me compared to last season, but he was dealing with that hampered ankle for the second half of the year,
Yeah.
right? So my initial thought was he did look quicker and his cuts were better, et cetera. But I'm thinking of how he finished the year. It'd be interesting to compare it to like the Washington game last year. Um, I'll tell you what, if they still wore like the normal size shoulder pads, he would look like his running back coach. I think he's got that low center of gravity, the quick cuts moving forward. He reminds me of Hart a lot. Um, I didn't think he was slower. He looked quicker, but maybe I'm running from a different perspective.
I think he looks almost shiftier to me. And
That might be the better word. Yeah.
And so I don't know about long speed. I don't think he's had like as many plays just in general to really view his explosiveness. But he has been really good in short, like I'd say like short yardage situations of making just an extra guy miss, and he's prioritizing that, I think, more. And I just don't think he has enough opportunities at this point to really definitively say his long speed. But like you said, I think we'll definitely figure that out as games go on. He hasn't had a whole lot of carries. I think at this point last year he had a significantly higher number of carries compared to now. He only carried the ball 8 times yesterday?
9 in this one.
Yesterday,
yeah.
Saturday. Feels like yesterday.
All the days blend together, man.
That's what I'm saying.
But
okay, we good for this next one?
Yeah, let's roll.
Let's dive in. All right, this one we got a little play action boot right. If Premiere Pro wants to agree with me, you can do it. There we go. Little play action boot. Delivers the ball to Schoonmaker. And this isn't looking to make the big play, right? This isn't a home run threat. This is just, again, get the defense to react, get them to follow this run action here to Blake Corum, that's Donovan Edwards in here, and deliver a ball. You got a flood concept on the right side here, short side of the field, with 3 routes for JJ McCarthy to determine where to go here. So, nothing too complicated here in terms of routes. Looking at kind of 3 different levels. As I said, you got Cornelius Johnson. He's running kind of a deep out, it looks like. So he's going at the deepest level up here. I think it's going to be off screen, but just to display that. You have Ronnie Bell here. Kind of on a crossing route. That's your intermediate option. And then you have Schoonmaker coming across here just into the quick flat. And this is obviously what eventually gets thrown. So you have this additional little fake here going this way. And again, a lot of this action that you see here is just to get the defense reacting this way, right? Clear all the linebacker level, clear your defensive backs, get them reacting this way. And you have 2 things, both this sort of end around fake and Donovan Edwards here to react to. And all you need is a couple steps, right? With Schoonmaker kind of sprinting across the line of scrimmage here, you got Ronnie Bell coming across. All you need is just a couple seconds of them to respect the end around, respect Donovan Edwards, and that's all you need, right? You see a couple shuffles, and then boom, right at this point, this is probably priority number 1, priority number 2. These 2 guys recognize, oh crap, these guys don't have the ball. I got a boot here. You got Schoonmaker. You got Ronnie Bell. This defensive back cleared out because you have Cornelius Johnson on a deep route here. And at this point, you've won, right? In terms of what I think the options here, McCarthy is right away getting his head around, and priority is probably low to high based on where his eyes are initially going. Is Schoonmaker open? Yes, deliver the ball here. If not, then you can move to Ronnie Bell, right? And I think the thought process here is if you have guys quickly reacting here, that means you're going to have more open space in the area next where Ronnie Bell's going to be. And then similarly, if this is covered, then you're very likely to have an open Cornelius Johnson deep if there's someone else who's coming down onto Ronnie Bell. So that's what I think why his eyes initially go to Schoonmaker. And at this point, you've already won the route, right? You get enough reaction out of the defense from that action coming across, and boom, right? Eyes go right away. Get your eyes around, see what you got. Just snap your eyes around. Boom, you got Schoonmaker. Good job getting a little bit of depth here. Ball's, maybe a little low, a little behind, but not bad. Schoonmaker is still a pretty athletic tight end. He's able to catch the ball, turn upfield, and pick up 5-6 yards here. One thing that I like out of Ronnie Bell here, he's not going to get out to 28 here. He does a little, almost like a box out, right? Bringing that basketball skill back to play here. Can't really do a blindside block, right? If he turns and full on blocks this guy, he's going to get hit with a penalty. It's not allowed. So you're going to see him keep his back to the defender and just kind of wall him off. Put that screen on, box him out here just in case Schoonmaker does get upfield. He doesn't, but I like that. Just those little things, right? Because a penalty would kill you on 1st and 10 here. And best case scenario, right? Schoonmaker hurdles this guy or somehow gets past that, and you're delaying 17 a path to the tight end there.
The potential of this play, right? We're running, vanilla right now. We're seeing vanilla from Michigan, but I think this is what's so exciting about this offense is you've got AJ Henning and Donovan Edwards there, like the potential, and the defense knows that. That's why they're honoring that, right? You've got 2 guys that can run with the ball, 2 guys that can catch the ball. And then, Johnson potentially deep. Bell, one of your better possession receivers coming across the middle. And then, like you said, both those guys play a ton, not just because they're good receivers, but they're arguably the 2 best blocking wide receivers on the team. And Schoonmaker, too. Schoonmaker, through these first couple games, has been one of the better blockers, even compared to offensive linemen, and he's a guy that can catch it. So, again, just the versatility, this one play, like you just showed. I mean, there's 8 different things that could have happened out of this one play.
Right.
So.
And I'll be curious watching this down the line, right? This is a really good 1st and 10 play. And what changes if, I don't know if Michigan would run this out of like a 3rd and 10, but how that would potentially change your reads, right? Because this isn't a play really that you're expecting to get 10 yards, right? This is a play where you're hoping to get 5-6 yards, set up your offense well for 2nd and 3rd down, keep ahead of the sticks, and put yourself in a scenario where you can have a lot of options for 2nd and 3rd down. If it's 3rd and 10 you're running this, right, maybe you can get a little bit greedy and say, hey, we need to first look for Ronnie Bell or Cornelius Johnson, and then you start at the top down, right? Is Cornelius Johnson open? Then you go to Ronnie Bell, and then you go to Schoonmaker, right? So I'll be interested to see if the down and distance is different, how those potential reads change for J.J. McCarthy. To me, this feels like a good 1st and 10 play just because you can very easily go low to high. Like you said, you have the other options you can go with here. But you could argue that maybe Ronnie Bell would have been open here, right? You have him kind of running across here. He's still getting a little bit of depth. There might be a window here that you can lay it up over number 17 here because the defensive back is still on Cornelius Johnson there off screen. So, but given this is the first read, right, you can see the snap right to Schoonmaker. This is what's the goal of the play, right? And that's what you have to ask. What is the objective of the play? So even though Ronnie Bell, maybe he's open there near the sticks, this is a very safe, very open 5-6 yards. It's 1st and 10. Take what the defense gets you. And that's kind of a thing that I was hoping to see out J.J. McCarthy as well, right? Is he making just those simple plays? You don't need to get a 1st down every single throw, right? Set up your offense well for 2nd and 3rd down, and that's what the coaches want to see as well. Are you making things easy for your offense, not just on this one play, but for 2nd and 3rd down? I think that's what this read progression is showing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say to wrap this play up. I think this illustrates the growth of J.J. McCarthy. Absolutely. Not that you can't take that deep shot, but knowing when it's okay to get an 8-yard play out of your tight end.
Absolutely. Yep. Cool. All right, let's roll here. This is going to be an arc read keep here for J.J. McCarthy reading the defensive end here. You're going to have motion out of Ronnie Bell coming from the numbers at the top of your screen. Here's that little fake to Donovan Edwards. Nice little job putting his hand on the back of Eric All, picking up 16 yards here. Let me check the angles we have here. I know we have this one. This one's not really much better. Okay. So, again, just look at the crossing bodies in the backfield, right? This is what you were kind of saying earlier, Trevor, of just the number of different things you can do with any given play and how annoying it must be for defenses, right? In this scenario, we already had the play read Eric All right, running out to the flat for a pass, right? On the last play, we saw AJ Henning running across, and you could conceivably see an end around there, right? You got Ronnie Bell here. You need to respect that with this defensive back running across the formation. And then you have the fake here up the middle, right? It's just chaos. And having all those weapons to respect on top of your quarterback also keeping the ball, that's a lot for your linebackers, really for your entire defense to handle. So it's scary. It's scary to defend this, and there's not much you can do. So the eyes right away, if we're counting the bodies again, let's count the number of blockers that Michigan has here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in the box that you're looking to block here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're leaving this guy unblocked. That's where the eyes of J.J. McCarthy are going to go right away. What is his reaction? Since he is creeping down the line of scrimmage here, again, that's what you're reading. Okay, that's an unblocked man in the box. That means that there are 7, and we only have 6 blocking. For that reason, I'm out. And I'm not going to keep the ball, I'm not going to give the ball. I'm taking it away from that mesh point, and now we have winning numbers on the outside, right? The added bonus of sending Ronnie Bell across on this sort of jet sweep action. You're taking this guy out of the play, clear out at the top of your screen. This guy's out of the picture. Now who's your best defender to guard against this outside, right? You got really 2 guys. You have this safety and probably this linebacker. This guy ideally is taken out of the wash by a combo block here from your center and guard. They can reach here. And then you're good, right? Everyone that is, that's pretty much everyone that's accounted for. You should have Eric All to take out this linebacker who's flowing to the play. And then you're taking J.J. McCarthy against a safety here. And that's going to be really past the first down marker at the very least. So looking at this play as it develops, right, 96, you're out of the water because that's who we read initially. Good decision here from Eric All, realizing, hey, that's not my priority. We already read him. What I like that J.J. McCarthy does here is he closes the gap on Eric All and just lets him know, hey, I'm here, go ahead and block, and then follows it. And he picks up another gear here, right? He's being patient. He sees a lot of green grass, but he understands that in order for that to be possible, he needs this block to start. And there's no need to run to the sideline or really accelerate until that block happens. And then he puts on the burners here. So boom, you get your block. Now I'm going to put on the wheels a little bit, create some distance, and then just get out of bounds, right? Again, what is the objective of the play? Pick up the first down. He gets 16, right? But beyond that, what are you going to get from here, right? At the very best, you'll get 3 extra yards if you try to make an inside move here. You did what the play asked. Good blocking downfield here for Cornelius Johnson. And this is exactly what you're looking for out of this play. So the backside, it's actually a pretty decent job here for 28. This is the guy who actually makes the tackle or forces JJ out of bounds. He actually realizes pretty quickly, keeping his eyes in the backfield, that hey, Ronnie Bell isn't the guy I should be following anymore, and he doubles back. So it's actually a decent enough job from him to be able to turn around and make a good angle here to force McCarthy out of bounds. But again, Michigan got exactly what they wanted, executed it well, and I feel like a little bit of a broken record, but this is just putting your athletes in space, putting the defense in a really tough spot to defend against all of the different threats, both from a running perspective and a passing perspective, to be able to defend this.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right there. That's McCarthy telling All, hey, I've got 96. My legs are going to take care of this. You keep going forward. And another thing here, the offensive line didn't perfectly execute this, right? They're going to the outside, but, El Hadi gets thrown down, so he doesn't get to the second level to pick the next guy. Trenny Jones doesn't release quick enough from that double block to grab number 17 there, but JJ's legs do enough. And like you said, I think the part the coaches probably loved is him getting out of bounds, right? He's probably lowering his shoulder on that play last year because he only gets so many opportunities, try to get every inch. He's done everything he can on this play. Let's get out of bounds safely and on to the next.
Yep, absolutely. And you could argue this could be defensive holding, right? This guy is getting double teamed here. He does look to rip here and rip El Hadi down.
He does, man. He chucks him.
Yeah. So whether that's holding or just a good play from defensive tackle, right? Obviously, I'm a little biased here, so I might call that holding. I would like to see Trent Jones do a little bit. I think that's Trent Jones, your right tackle there. Do a
Yeah.
little bit better job getting to that second level, right? At this point, you're already mauling that defensive tackle here. You got to work your butt to get upfield here, right? There is no pass threat here. This is run all the way, so there's no ineligible receiver downfield that you have to be careful about in RPO. This is a run all the way. So I would like to see him get upfield, try to get a little bit of distance here to form a little bit of a wall, and have Eric All get a little bit, more distance for this guy coming across like that. So you're right. There are still improvements, and those are the sort of things in film that you can still improve upon, right? And that's the great thing where, there are still improvements to make this 16-yard gain even better and take it from 16-yard gain to a 30-yard gain and make that one extra jump there. But that's a good sign when you can make a few mistakes and still pick up a huge chunk.
Exactly. Address that comment real quick as far as like having any concern about the O-line. You are putting 2 new starters in there, albeit one of them's arguably the best center in the country, and then Jones has all the athletic tools to be, again, another probably NFL talent at right tackle. So offensive line relies on cohesiveness more than any other unit on a football team. So I think when you throw in the injuries on top of the 2 new starters, and then also, most of these guys are playing 10 or 15 of snaps, in these first 2 early games. So I don't think concern's the right word. They're going to figure it out. They'll get together. Like I said, they've been dealing with some injuries, some new starters. So there's going to be some mistakes early games. And then, if we're week 6, 7, 8 or whatever, and still kind of talking about some of these things, then maybe the concern starts to come up.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's like, I would like it to be a little bit ahead of where it's at now. I think especially with some of the Cade snaps in this game, I think he was under a lot more pressure than he should have been, and that was disappointing. So I would say there's disappointing moments. As a whole, though, I wouldn't say it's a worry. I think we know what we have. Like you said, some injuries there. It's if we're judging based on it's not a red flag. It's it's a green flag with a little bit of a yellow tint where it's like, hey, just keep an eye on me. Keep an eye on me. Make sure that the health gets back there. And if we still see that against UConn, see that against Maryland, then, maybe it turns into a little bit more of a yellow shade. But at this point, when you're executing at this level, I wouldn't say it's cause for alarm just yet. But I think it's something to call out and something to watch. But like you said, I don't have concern. It's more of something to watch.
Well said.
Okay, 21-0 here, 2nd and 10 towards the end of the first here. This is the only incompletion of the day for McCarthy. And I think this is, people said that, this is a drop for Ronnie Bell. I don't think this is a great throw. I'll be honest here. I think there was a mistake made here. Okay, so against a better linebacker, I would argue this might get picked, and I'll go to this alternate angle here, where if this guy is reacting a little bit quicker, right? And let's look at the legs here for number 1 here. He's a little slow on getting out towards this slant route, where if you kind of check number 47, who's doing a similar sort of thing, turning his hips, kind of looking for the slant here, he's kind of getting a little bit more width when if I'm drawing a line here from 50 here, they start kind of similarly there. 47's getting 1 or 2 shuffles here. Number 1 is kind of flat-footed to start. He only gets over just as McCarthy's starting to throw instead of maybe a shuffle or 2 over. So I'm going to say against a better linebacker, this is a pretty scary throw. However, he is throwing this ball where it needs to be if he is needing to throw in that window, right? If J.J. McCarthy tries to throw this pass in front of Ronnie Bell, hit him in stride, then you probably are looking at the very least a tipped pass, if not an intercepted pass. So my ideal first, and I'll break down, I don't know if we have the best angles to break down all the other aspects of this pass. My ideal here would be that I'm expecting this linebacker to kind of get into this window anyway. He's already getting there, right? There's only 4 rushing. They weren't showing pressure here. You got hats on heads here. You got double here. No pressure coming here. I would like him just to wait for that second window, right? You got the safety dropping back here. There's a pretty big window that's opening here right around where this ref is that Ronnie Bell will be entering into. So
I think Bell, I mean, I'm making an assumption here, but I think Bell agreed with you. I don't think Bell was anticipating the pass until he cleared him and got closer to the hash in terms of that linebacker there.
Yeah, I don't.
Am I the only one that got scared when he grabbed his knee on the way down? By the way,
I did. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you got to be right. Yeah, you can't see it, but
I don't know if this
I
angle shows it.
I mean, that does hit him in the hands, though.
Yeah, no.
I agree with everything you said, but I want Ronnie Bell to come down with that ball, right?
Yeah, he should still come down with that ball. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like do you really need to force that, right? And I mean, I think the super advanced level here would be a pump fake, right? Think of what a pump fake would do here to that linebacker, right? If you have your eyes over there, that's one way of getting the linebacker, right? If you're just looking here, that linebacker is already going to start drifting this way. If you throw in a pump fake and Ronnie Bell continues on this route, then you're cooking with something there. Because then you could even have that safety, right, who's coming down over here. If you're thinking he's going to throw the ball right here, that could even give you more inside leverage for Ronnie Bell here to pick up that pass. So that's super like next level, and I'm not going to expect him to do that day one. But
let's be honest, this is all he's given us, right?
That's true.
This is the mistake, so we're going to nitpick it, right? Because this is for an entire night. Again, against Hawaii, we've talked about execution is still execution, but yeah, if you're gonna find a mistake for JJ McCarthy against Hawaii, here it is.
And then Kevin Smith says,
Devin Gardner, does he glance back?
I don't really see a glance back here. I don't know where. It looks like he's telegraphing this kind of the whole way, right? Like, I don't know, maybe he thinks right here, like this is a little bit of a look, but to me that's not enough. To me, that's not really a look back, right? He's already kind of throwing the ball here. To me,
that's JJ deciding he's going to have to pitch this one.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I think he's putting his whole chest into this one.
Exactly. Yeah, he looks more like a pitcher there. He's realizing, okay, I didn't hold off the linebacker. This is where my speed ball comes in, and he puts everything he has into it. And then again, that might be, that with Ronnie Bell, everyone like, oh, drop issues. Maybe he can't. Have the best hands for a 110-mile-per-hour ball coming from J.J. McCarthy slightly behind him versus, a Cornelius or a guy with bigger hands.
Right. Kevin Smith says go back further. I don't see where he's really looking, right? It looks like he's looking at this all
right from the beginning, maybe? Because, he's on Bell there. That little peak right there before he throws it, that's the only thing I see. But I don't, like you said, I don't know if that's significant enough.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, right? Maybe he tried. Maybe it is. But I think overall – does hit his hands, probably should have been caught against a better linebacker. I would argue this is probably like I have like weird flashbacks, even though it's not really a flashback of just like a Wisconsin random linebacker just one-handing this and taking it into the end zone. Like I can just picture that. Yep. Yeah. So again, I think in the film room, this is like, hey, good ball placement if you're throwing to this window. Maybe don't throw to that window, right? Recognize that, like take a quick look at that safety, recognize that safety's dropping back, understand that the other routes, right? Schoonmaker going up the seam here, this is going to, and you have your flare out of your running back here, that's going to take this guy elsewhere. Understand that with the body language here, you should have some open space here. Hold on a second, unless you're like really under pressure, live to see another down. This is just a little bit too risky.
What a play by that defensive tackle, getting his hand up, double team, probably getting held a little bit. Look at that.
Yeah, good point.
Over the shoulder. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's tough. Cool. So yeah, again, if this is the only thing that the only play that we really have to say, like, okay, maybe not that throw, and that's like really the only thing. Everything else that we have here is pretty positive. So if that's the one thing where, hey, you rifled a pass in that probably should have been caught, and that's your only downside on the day, you're doing something right. Okay, let's go into end of first quarter. Actually, this next play, so 127. Dropping back here, simple little drop off here to Ronnie Bell, and he fumbles it here. So not the best 2 plays here from Ronnie Bell, really. Let's drop back here, look at the route tree. We don't get the full all 22 on this, so a little bit of guesswork. Cornelius Johnson, I think, does a go route. Schoonmaker, where's Schoonmaker? He does like a deep out route here towards the top of your screen. Henning is going to do, he's kind of coming across here. He's going to go to the flat and turn that into a wheel route, it looks like. Ronnie Bell, who eventually gets the ball thrown to him. He's on a little cross route here, about 5 yards deep. And a little flare out of Edwards out of the backfield here. So really with this route tree, everything is kind of running to the right side of the field. And I think Michigan did this a lot this game to make things easy on J.J. McCarthy. Keep things to one side of the field, right? All of this go route, you got the deep out, you got this crossing route here, you got this sort of out and up or a little flat and wheel route here. And then you have a relief pass here. But really, you're making things a little easier for J.J. McCarthy. Just read one side of the field. You don't have to go across and make things too difficult here. So initially, it looks like he's reading this safety. So he sees that this safety is getting some depth here. And then he looks at what the linebacker does. So, okay, safety is dropping back. Now he's looking at the linebacker. I think it's this guy right here and saying, okay, is this guy going to be in the area for this deep out? Again, look at the down and distance. It's 3rd and 10. So this makes sense. He sees the safety dropping back. So that's probably going to mean that Cornelius Johnson is going to have a bit of traffic back there. Not the best option for him. Then you check number 1 here. Is he dropping back? Is this deep out going to be covered? Looks like it will. Okay. Then he's going to probably his 3rd option here, Ronnie Bell, right? So because of that linebacker there, we don't really have the downfield angle to see if anyone does come open even with that coverage, but you see everyone kind of clearing out for Ronnie Bell here. Does make sense to throw this. I think this is a case where, this is, again, man-to-man. If you had like 47 or something trying to cover Ronnie Bell, you'd be in a much better situation because this is zone. You're going to struggle to pick up a first down with this reaction here, right? You're only sending for Hawaii here, so you're dropping 7 in coverage. It's going to be tough with this crossing route to really pick up that first down. So again, this is tough right here because Ronnie Bell has a decision to make. You could argue maybe you should have cut up the field here, right? Because you have Schoonmaker kind of following, right, or you have this 47 following Schoonmaker here. If you can cut up back here, make this guy miss, maybe that's the better option. He's trying to get to the sideline here, make a guy miss. It's actually a phenomenal play from this safety to run up here. He makes a phenomenal hit, but his speed of getting and cutting off this angle, right? Because he does make this guy miss. So this guy makes a play, and then he forces a fumble here. So unfortunately, we don't have the downfield angle to see if there would have been Cornelius Johnson coming open, anything like that. But this is just a case of, sometimes the defense makes a play. It was a nicely thrown ball. I think, again, what you were saying earlier of being able to just take off a little from your passes, right? You don't need to really rifle it in there. This is a nice catchable ball on the numbers. And he has plenty of time to work after the catch. Just 19 comes up, makes a nice stick. And, not a great 1-2 play sequence here for Ronnie Bell, but credit to him for getting back on the ball here and allowing yourself to win at least the field position battle a little bit.
Yeah, and again, in terms of we're analyzing JJ primarily in this, he can't help what happens with Bell at the end there. I think this is another growth moment where he's not trying to do too much and he's aware of the situation. Look, he's standing in the end zone. He's got a defensive tackle and an edge player that are going to get dangerously close to him at the end here. He still has time to set his feet and make an easy throw, and Ronnie Bell is just too open. So maybe some more action's happening, but if he waits another half second there, he's under pressure. He's maybe, making a throw while he's getting hit. Maybe taking, I don't think he's going to take a safety because he can get out of it.
Right.
But he makes the smart play here. He gives the receiver a chance to try and earn the first down. It doesn't work out, but in terms of the quarterback decision-making, some of the, concern with JJ trying to do too much and forcing a mistake, he takes the safe route here when he has to.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think the result is disappointing where it's like, oh, a fumble and you got a punt or whatever. But again, if the coverage isn't conducive for a successful play and your only other option is forcing it into a window that doesn't exist, long term, trying to do that will result in more negative plays than something like this, right? At least give yourself a chance here, where if you're trying to throw it into a window that doesn't exist, you're way more likely to result in a lot of turnovers that could negatively affect you in way worse ways than this. So yeah, you're absolutely right. These are the sort of little plays where we were kind of used to with Cade McNamara that we have some of these big plays, and then when there's nothing else, you sometimes have to take what is there, and that's what that shows, his willingness to do that. Okay, we'll break down one more play here, and then we'll have to reconvene one more time here, hopefully, and get you back in here. All right, second quarter now, 14:08 here, 21-0 here, just a straight up pass again. This one, nice ball into an open window here to Ronnie Bell. Picks up a gain of about 13 or so yards here. So let's look at the routes here. Looks like a couple of hitches here from both Cornelius Johnson. I think it's Cornelius Johnson. Looks like a hitch here. Just kind of a sit down in the zone here, right? There's going to be gaps in the zone with cover 3. So you're going to have drop here, drop into deep third here, drop into a deep third here. That's going to leave this open kind of between that zone. So you'll have a sort of a sit route out of Schoonmaker. He's right here. I think he's going to just kind of come towards the middle and sit. Out route from Roman Wilson, and then a flat route from Blake Corum out of the backfield here. So nothing too complicated, right? This is a play that is called expecting zone. And again, reads here for J.J. McCarthy. Let's go through. I'll just show kind of the routes that I drew out there. These routes are designed to just find space between the zone here. And especially with this sort of flat route from Blake Corum at the top of your screen, that's going to put this linebacker number 47 a little bit in conflict here and force him to make a call. So it looks like the eyes for J.J. McCarthy. He gets the snap. He's looking initially at this deep safety. Boom, notices he's dropping. Okay, looks like his next read, he's going to shift over towards that cornerback. I think he's probably looking through 47 and reading towards this guy as well. He's getting depth, and I think that final read, he's going to kind of hold his head where it is, and then he's going to notice, all right, what is 47 doing? 47 is vacating, getting out of here, and that opens up this for Ronnie Bell, right? If this guy just kind of sits here, guess what? You're going to have Blake Corum in space, and then a linebacker to try to make up this ground, or this defensive back, right? And you're probably looking at a first down. Either way, this is a winning route combination with this coverage. So, I mean, it's pretty simple, right? You call the right routes against the right coverage, and you have a couple guys sitting in the exact right place, right? So, you could argue, I mean, you really can't argue that this other side also could have been open if you're looking at Cornelius Johnson. I think because you have the flare going out to this side, this is what makes it more advantageous in a zone scenario. This guy is more in conflict than any linebackers on this side, right? So both of these guys would be open. This is also a shorter throw because you're more towards the left hash than the right hash. So that makes it a quicker throw here. And those little things of how quick can I get the ball here, that maximizes the amount of yards that he can have after the catch as well. So pretty quick, going through his read progression, that's what you want. Boom, safety drops, boom, defensive back has a deep third, linebacker vacates, deliver the ball on time, get some yards after the catch. Ronnie Bell makes a guy miss or two, and well, it doesn't make a guy miss, but he maximizes the yards that he can, and pretty easy pitch and catch. That's what you want, man. Make things look easy.
That's a straightforward play. I think Schoonmaker's the unsung hero on that one, because if he goes 2 yards too far, the other defender that's there is going to pick him up, and then the linebacker that goes with him is going to release back into that zone where Bell is. But see how he kind of turns back in and brings him with him and leaves Bell that open space. So, yeah, that's a pretty straightforward play. And yeah, like you said, just takes his time, hits you up. Another defender getting their hand up.
Yeah, they did a good job getting their hands in the way
Big old
there.
swat. Look at that bear
Yeah,
claw,
you're
man.
right.
Wow.
And that's a good point about Schoonmaker. Like his job here is to just occupy this guy, right? He's looking
Exactly. Yep.
directly at him. Just make him guard you, right? Like you're not the. I mean, if you find yourself open, that's fine. But he's almost just setting a pick, just like saying, "Hello, I am here. Force me here," and that's going to create a lot of space for this guy. So it's interesting. Just kind of target that guy, say you're guarding me now, and don't let him off of you. Put him in conflict. Say you're guarding me, or you're gonna, like really that's your only option. You are guarding me. So, yep, that's just good play calling and good execution. Again, when you have the right call and you execute, good things happen. Okay, I'm gonna kick you out one more time, Trevor, and
All right.
I'll get you back in here.
See you in a minute.
Yep. All right, and meeting for all. Let's do this one more time. Join with computer audio. More. Invite. Copy invite link. Do. And there we go. For next time, we will definitely have the Zoom Pro figured out. This is our first time doing this. It's going pretty well. I like how smooth it is, but we can always do better, right? So that's what we're going for. And he's back. Okay.
And we're back.
And we're back. I always try to. It's interesting. I always forget how to get the window set up every time I get there. That's all right. We'll figure it out. Oh, now you're too big on my screen. Share screen. There we go. There we go. That's what we want. Good stuff, fellas. Thanks, Kevin Smith. Appreciate you guys coming in. Again, we're going to try to do this every week, so if you can throw a subscription to the channel so you don't miss any of it. Obviously, this will be up for watching later on, but feel free, as always, to add any questions you have throughout, and we'll be able to answer them. This is fun, man. I don't think there's too many formats. I like the software and setup we have here. It's only going to get better over time. So this is a fun thing. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's get into 12:56 here. Second quarter. All right. Coverage, we got cover one out of the safety. So this one deep safety is dropping back. Max protect here for Michigan. Only 3 routes here on this one. JJ loads up and delivers a dime here. Cornelius Johnson. Not the worst coverage, just a better throw. And
it's a great throw.
Yeah, really, I would argue probably his best throw on the day. And I mean, that's what you want, right? I think in the first game, it's like, man, we didn't really like stretch the field all that much. And we're unleashing our guys here, right? So a little play action. This is just fun, man. Really, the only 3 routes that you have here, like I said, max protect, inside released, deep post here. It's a lot deeper than this. But for the screen purpose, that's what we got. You got a deep kind of crossing route here from Ronnie Bell towards the top of your screen, and then a Corum route on a out route. I think he goes this way. Let's make sure that that is the, yep. So it's all going to that side. And really, you do have 2 options here, and I really like this route combo. The first thing I'm going to call out here before we get through the read progression of J.J. McCarthy here is look at what this safety has to decide, right? This safety is like, okay, do I take Ronnie Bell here, right? And just based off alignment alone, like this is a really tough job for number 8 on the defense to guard this, right? You already have inside leverage. You don't have to do much for Ronnie Bell except just sprint across the field here. And with this route combination, this safety has to decide, man, this guy running right across my face here is looking pretty screamingly wide open. But he also has to respect and understand that this is one-on-one coverage. And if he doesn't get enough depth, then you're also in trouble there, right? So the read for J.J. McCarthy is pretty simple, right? He's looking at that safety this entire time. And
that was going to be my big call out on that,
that entire time. And the safety actually does appropriately get
Yep.
get depth here, even though this play action, right? This play action is kind of keeping these linebackers home. The additional step here would be, okay, if this guy's also reacting to this run action, then there's a no doubt to this post route with no over-the-top help. Because he's still getting a little bit of depth, he's just watching, right? And right there, boom, just that little stutter out of that safety right on the block M there. That's all it takes. That's all it takes for JJ to say, yep, there's enough space there. And
That's a great call, Toski.
And he could still go to Ronnie Bell, right? This safety kind of put himself in no man's land here, where he's not in a great position to defend the crossing out here to Ronnie Bell or the post, right? He just didn't make his mind up, because really there is no good decision. Either way here, it's going to be a huge pickup, because even if he bails early on this to defend against the post route, what does that give to Ronnie Bell? Ronnie Bell crosses here, probably catches the ball. Is number 8 going to catch him? I don't know. There's a lot of space there, right? So it's not an easy decision for that safety. It puts him in conflict just enough. And look at all that green grass, right? You could argue maybe the pass was a little underthrown. Again, Cornelius Johnson had to hold up just a little bit, right? Against maybe some better defensive backs. They would be able to close that gap a little bit quicker and make this a contested catch. But, I mean, I'm splitting hairs here, right? That's a ball that is extremely catchable. It's placed inside, right? If you're going to miss anywhere, missing a little bit short and to the inside so that he can run under that, especially with his safety not being able to defend that. That's where you want that throw to be. So he reads it correctly, and the route combination here just really puts that safety in a tough spot. Good protection as well, right? You're sending only 5 here for Hawaii. You got mass protecting, keeping your tight end. Actually got both. I think there's Honigford and Schoonmaker here.
Yep.
As well. So you got lots of guys in, 3 routes, and it's just putting that safety in a tough spot against 2 really good wide receivers, and just execute, right? Just execute. Don't throw it long when you have that. Let your wide receiver make a play, and Cornelius Johnson does that. So it's easy.
And look, I don't want to pick on Cade, but like when we're talking about the separation between JJ, and it's not picking on Cade, this is something not a lot of quarterbacks can do. A lot of Cade's strength was pre-snap, making reads and adjustments. What I saw from JJ in this game on this play, and then the deep ball to Edwards that we'll get to, he's looking at Corum towards the end there. He knows where he's going to go with the ball. He's going to Cornelius, but he knows that little bit of action, and great call by you. Other than that quick little second where the safety hangs up right there, he does what he's supposed to do.
Yep.
Right? This is just J.J. McCarthy having the ability to make this throw. And, you know, he sees Cornelius has the step, and he's on the inside, and I think that's why he leads him. I agree. Maybe he could throw it a little bit further, you know, but we've seen other throws with, and again, not trying to pick on Cade, but where that ball goes upfield and the receiver now has to stop and try and come back to it. Versus, look, you gave the receiver a chance to make a play, and he's the only one that's going to make a play. That's all you want. So, yeah, he took that little hiccup from the safety, who overall did a really good job, I think, in waiting as long as he could to make that choice, and that's all it took. And JJ unleashed and made a great throw.
Yep, that's what you want. And again, just give your guys a chance, especially in a game like this, right? Like, just give your guys a chance to make a play. The worst feeling is to have that guy with a couple steps and then overthrow it, right? That was kind of the case with the second play from scrimmage with Roman Wilson. That's the case on this one. Give your guys a chance. Against a team like Hawaii especially, you can afford to be a little short. Just capitalize on it, and he did that time and time again. Okay, we're here, 9 or 12, 11. 12-10 RPO here. Read the linebacker. He's going to read the linebacker here off of this action. Again, inside leverage here for Ronnie Bell for the score here. So,
Toski, real quick.
Yeah.
This is the play that Bell said was supposed to be a run.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, and that JJ made this call that he saw something. And if you have the camera angle, I don't know if you do, I mean, he keeps that ball in Edwards' pocket until the very last second.
Yeah, I don't think I have the super close angle. I do remember seeing that. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, so he's definitely, and this is a good point where it doesn't, you'd never really see the eyes for JJ McCarthy go towards 96 here, right? If this is a true RPO and you're looking at just at sheer numbers, I mean, the numbers in the box here aren't really advantageous for Michigan because you still have this block for Bredesen coming across the formation here. He's still going to block this defensive end. So traditionally, if you're, especially because this route is coming here, right? This isn't really a, like there's no one he's really reading, right? It's outside of the linebacker. So, actually, yeah, I'm gonna.
Is that a pre-snap read maybe? Like JJ's looking at the numbers in the box and going, okay, we're gonna run the running action, but I'm throwing this ball.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna like. It's a good question. I'm not exactly sure, but he's reading
we're guessing.
He's reading two guys right here. He's reading 25 initially. That's where his eyes initially go, and then he's going to see if number 1 is cheating up as well. If both of these guys, because you're looking, what is this window going to look like? Is there going to be space here? So from what I see here, he sees 25 getting depth. Okay, is he getting enough depth here for this slant to be there? And he's expecting this ball to be delivered again right here, right around the goal line. So is this guy getting enough depth to provide enough space on this slant route? So that's why he's initially looking for depth here. And then he's looking at number 1. Is number 1 selling out against the run? So boom, yes, he's getting depth. Now his eyes shift right here to number 1. Is number 1, is he coming up in the run here? Is he going to be in this direct path for this throw? If he isn't, if he is coming up, then I can throw this ball accurately. I know 25 will be out of the way. He's going to get too much depth. And I know that Ronnie Bell has inside leverage already on that defensive back. He's going to have this throw. So I think that's 100% what he's reading here. And I mean, it's the right call, right? There's an open window here. The ball is maybe a little high, right? But I mean, he throws a bullet, and this is what it needs to be, right? Because even though 25 does get some depth here, he's going to tee up, right? He has the right angle here to defend this pass. So you don't really want to, the quicker the ball gets to Ronnie Bell here, the quicker he'll be able to secure it. So this is where you can really show off that velocity that he does have. And he makes the right call to do that. So boom, gets the depth, and then just fires a cannon there. So yeah, a little bit high, right? You'd probably want just a little bit lower. But I mean, not a bad ball by any stretch, right? Because in this case, where you are on the field, if it's a little high like this, right, it's either like a tipped ball in this scenario isn't too scary. Whereas if this is middle of the field, right, and there's another safety behind him, anything like that, it can be really scary to have a high ball like that, tipped ball, and you have other routes, other defenders behind him to potentially pick that off. In this case, it's all or nothing, right? And despite it being a little bit high, it's really tough for a defensive back to get his hands on that, where if it is a little bit lower, right, you can see kind of the hands on the numbers there of Ronnie Bell. It's not bad to have it a little bit higher to create some distance from the hands of that defensive back. So I think it makes it a little bit of a tougher catch. It is a throw that tees him up for the safety, right? Just give a lot of credit to Ronnie Bell for holding on to the ball there.
Yeah. And again, this is another situation. Look, that's a crowded pocket, right, that JJ's throwing over. And there's another, our Knicks fan in here pointed out, got another defender, gets off of Hayes, coming in wide open, hands up. So, maybe those couple inches that JJ has is playing a huge difference here versus Cade. But, I mean, getting over that crowded line with a defender in your face and delivering that bullet, and then, whether it goes over Bell in complete worst-case scenario or what. But, again, giving your receiver a chance to make a play.
Yep, and just what D Original said as well. If you missed it, the ball goes in the end zone. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think one additional thing, this isn't necessarily like in stride, right? It's not in front of Ronnie Bell. And that's another thing where if this is a little bit in front of Ronnie Bell, then that would be really dangerous in terms of just getting absolutely clocked from 25, right? So the more you can do you have the inside leverage. You don't necessarily need this to be more inside of a throw. So he kind of stops. You can see Ronnie Bell, his momentum kind of stops here a little bit right at the goal line. It's not like he's continuing to run that slant. So you can afford to throw it a little bit. You don't expect that defensive back to be able to really make a play on it. 25, that safety here, middle of the field, that's really your concern. How is he going to dislodge the ball? If your momentum continues to take the wide receiver into 25, you put yourself at a much greater chance of, probably injury, but also breaking up that pass. So by having his momentum stopped, that makes it a little bit less of a violent hit. I think it is still a little violent, but not as much as it could have been. So I don't have issue with the higher ball for this specific scenario, and credit Ronnie Bell. He had that one drop and then the fumble earlier on. He makes up for it here with the touchdown.
I think that's all Ronnie Bell, isn't it? Maybe a drop or a little mistake that you wish you wouldn't make, and then comes right back with a big play. That's been him his whole career.
Absolutely.
Michigan, so.
Absolutely.
Man, I hate those new helmets. I got to be honest.
You hate them?
Like it's where it's missing the part of the face guard at the top there.
Oh, you're okay. I see what you mean.
Oh,
yeah.
That drives me nuts.
Yeah,
but that's just me being old man. Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. Okay, so I included
Let's play. Here we go.
Yeah, I included this initial part just to ensure that I remembered that this was a motion out for Edwards, right? So he was initially in the backfield. He motions out, and you have number 17, a linebacker, coming out to guard him, right? So right away, you got to recognize that as, hey, maybe this is something that we should look at and we should throw to, right? That's not really a matchup that I think most teams would look at and say, hey, let's continue on with that. I would argue that if a team finds themselves in that scenario, and even Jake Butt called it out and circled it on the screen, I think other defenses would probably want to call a timeout in that scenario. And, this is just what makes Donovan Edwards special, right? Going up and get that ball. 100%. The routes that we have here, I think this is either Henning or Bell at the top of your screen. I can't really tell. But he has a post route here. All has an out route. You got Schoonmaker with a little sit route here. Johnson right here, he's in the slot. He has a crossing route, and then you just kind of have this fade here down the sideline for Donovan Edwards. So the eyes on this play for JJ McCarthy right towards the middle of the field right away. And he's just looking at this safety, trying to keep him home. So he's just looking, safety, yep, you're getting depth. I just want to make sure that you're not creeping over too much, because he already knows where he's going with that ball, right? As soon as you see Edwards go out there and the linebacker follow, you know you have him, as long as you're going to have that window between him and the safety. Again, the ball's a little high here, but not the worst throw. You have a really, really athletic receiving running back in Donovan Edwards. Again, give him a chance, right? So, nothing much else to say here, right? You get a matchup you want. This motion and formation and route tree is just to clear out to get him open down the sideline there, and you get exactly what you want. So nothing much more really to call out there, except, hey, future teams maybe don't put a linebacker on Donovan Edwards when he motions out as a wide receiver.
That corner number 3, when he waves the linebacker over, you can tell he's kind of like, yep, good luck. Bud.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. And there's no play on the ball.
Any other team would have called timeout. They recognized right away, like, this probably isn't good for us, right? But yeah, that was Jake Butt's Tony Romo play, calling that out right before it happened.
Absolutely. So. And I think this is something where it's like, not only do you you force the.
I like this view. You can really see what JJ's doing in terms of what you said of keeping that safety. And once he knows he's good, see ya.
You force the hand of the defense not only to, call a timeout or do more zone to address certain scenarios like this. You address their personnel as well, where it's like, crap, it is, in this case, Hawaii probably doesn't have many options, But, another team, when they have a linebacker out there, it's like, crap, what do we do if Donovan Edwards goes out and motions there? Like, what do we do? Do we have the guys who can play both linebacker and be able to defend against that? And not many teams have options to really have that guy who can guard Donovan Edwards in a fade and also play the linebacker position. That guy just doesn't exist, right? That is like Michael Barrett, and that's it. And those guys don't grow on trees. So you force the personnel and you put defenses in a bind. And that's just time and time again what J.J. McCarthy does for you. That's what a guy like Eric All can do for you. And that's what a running back who can do this, like Donovan Edwards, that's what they do to you. There's no good answers to that problem. And I'm just going to start calling him the problem from now on.
Oh, I like that, actually.
The problem.
I think, well, and once they get into, conference play, Edwards, All, and Henning, right? Everything you just described about, let's say the defense does have that guy and he's on Edwards now. Well, guess what Eric All is doing, right? Guess what AJ Henning's doing? So you need 3 guys to cover, because that linebacker that's going out there with Edwards is probably the guy that's covering All most of the time. Right.
Good
so
question.
Now, you've got All going down the seam with a slower linebacker, or Henning on an end around with another linebacker, a deep safety not getting up quick enough to get to Henning, whatever. Just having these guys that are so versatile, whether they're coming from the backfield on the outside, All can line up on the outside slot, whatever.
Yep.
It's going to put defenses in binds where they're going to have to make a choice. And now, again, difference, JJ Cade maybe. Is JJ going to make the right choice and make the tough throw when they get that matchup they want? This one was a little obvious.
Yeah.
Right. But it's going to get a little bit more complicated, but with the guys moving around, man.
Yeah.
JJ can make the throws. That's the point.
Absolutely. And there was one more point I had, and then it just straight up escaped me. I'll have it. It's not you. It's not you. Oh, it was actually moving on to this play. This so it's end of the second quarter. There was a previous drive here, Cade McNamara.
Earlier. They put JJ to run the 2-minute drill. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. There were people asking around me, where it's like, why are they putting JJ back in? It's like they need
situational football.
They need to see how he'll perform in different scenarios, and this is one of those scenarios. Can he run at a higher tempo? What will he do?
I was actually worried they weren't going to put him back in because
I was with you.
I was like, man, this is the perfect spot. How many 2-minute drills do you get like this? And when I saw him come back out, I was like, oh. That's just good coaching.
Yeah, that's what you need to see. You need to see your guys in scenarios they haven't been before in a live setting and see how they react, and that's what this drive was all about. Okay, this play is called Everybody Do an Out Route. So you got 4 guys just straight up running an out route. And can you deliver a ball? Again, I think this first read is just what is the short side of the field, deliver that quick, and pick up the first down. Give us a new set of downs. We're closing in on a minute here. Just get us the first down. It's second and short, right? If it's incomplete, you got another down to run it. You only have 1 timeout left. What is the best ball that can pick up the first down, fresh set of downs, burn the least amount of clock, and get us a good look here moving forward within the red zone. So, again, nothing crazy here. You got CJ Stokes in here for pass protection. Actually, looks like he's running out after the initial. I would bet if there was someone blitzing, he's going for pass pro, and then just running a little just escape route here. But yeah, this is just straight up. Everyone just go out, and then same with Eric All and Ronnie Bell here, out and out, because of the short side of the field, right? You have a lot of leverage here, especially with the alignment here. How is anybody really realistically going to cover this, right? Especially because this is a zone where these guys have their deep thirds. These guys have to get out to the flat. These guys have the middle here, right? How can you expect any of these guys to get over to this out route? You really can't. So based on that alignment, this is a really easy first read. No linebacker is going to be able to get out to Ronnie Bell quick enough. That defensive back can't come up quick enough. Just deliver the ball. It's on the money, and Ronnie Bell even has the chance to do a little bit yards after the catch. But again, priority here is got the first down. He goes out of bounds. That's fine, and you got your first down in the red zone. So pretty simple. But again, it's these little things. Just execute well, throw a ball on time, right? There are no home runs here, and you don't need to hit a home run. Do what the play is intended to do, and now you have what you want with a minute 13 left to go.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, this is a bread and butter Cade play, right?
Yeah.
Cade lived inside the 10-yard line, specifically to his right side, right? So having that play out in the flat or all stopping, or if there is coverage in that situation, CJ Stokes is stopping right in the middle of the zone, and that's going to be the check down, right?
Yep.
So this is something Cade's really good at, right? Like I'm trying not to trash him, JJ won the job or whatever, but this is an example of JJ doing a Cade thing, right? We know JJ can do JJ things, but yeah, 2nd and 2, situational awareness, minute left, just getting the first down, no crazy risk. And then, again, if the coverage is there, I think you can see how open Stokes would have been right there if the coverage was tight. So, yeah, this is just another example of him showing control of the offense, understanding the situation, and like you said, just making something look easy.
Yep, absolutely. All right, last play here. We got this very next play, so 113 left. Can't really tell much from the angle here. We don't have a great view of the coverage here. But what we do know is the initial reads here for J.J. McCarthy are not there. He starts to scramble a bit, and good improvisation. And again, this is the part where when play breaks down and the options aren't there, what happens, right? You got 4 on the initial pass rush. So let's look at that. Good job, Keegan, especially keeping that defensive tackle. Yep, get him upfield. And good job from JJ, recognize that hole left from that defensive tackle, right? Center doesn't really have Oluwatimi, doesn't have anyone to block. He helps chip 90 here. So he finds the open space here, right? And we can't really see what he's reading. Again, you have 7 dropping in coverage here for Hawaii. So flats, middle, third. And we can't really tell what the routes here are for.
Does Cornelius snap off when he sees JJ escape, or was that his route tree the whole way?
This was not. This was not his initial route tree. So it definitely looks like Ronnie Bell. It looks like Roman Wilson at the top of your screen. So if I were to guess, this seems like just up the seam. It seems like there's like a deep cross here. And I'm not sure what else we have, honestly. Schoonmaker seems like he's just probably going to sit in the middle of in the zone here. I'm not exactly sure. But they're all kind of running deeper routes here. So, I mean, that'll clear out the linebackers, right? There's nothing in front of them. So there's a lot of green space here. But we do have...
That's a tough throw, too.
It's a tough throw, yeah.
Another one he makes look easier than it is. That's a tough throw.
And this is great growth because I think in the past we would have seen JJ... been looking, okay, now I'm not going to throw the ball and I'm going to run. I'm going to make something happen on my feet, and it's me against this one guy, right? It's me against him. I can beat him on my legs and I can get a first down, right? I feel like that's something
He's got options.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he probably could have done that and made a really nice play, but he kept his eyes downfield. And we do have the alternate angle here of Johnson here, who is running here, and then he looks back and notices, okay, this isn't getting thrown right here. And then he kind of looks around and does, okay, I'm just going to head to the end zone here. I'm going to head to the sideline, I should say here.
Yeah.
So it's a really good job from him recognizing, hey, I need to just kind of figure out where I can go, become a safety valve. And he probably knows based on like the other routes, right? You got Schoonmaker kind of in the middle of the end zone here. Roman Wilson on the other side. So because he probably sees the direction of J.J. McCarthy and where he's heading, right? Because J.J. McCarthy is kind of fading towards this way, kind of mirroring that and coming this way is the priority. Where if J.J. McCarthy is escaping out of the other way, then, yeah, maybe make your way towards the front of the end zone or flow with him. So it's just good recognition, right? He kind of took stock of where he is, where J.J. McCarthy is going, right? He looks back and says, okay, nothing's getting thrown here. Now where do I go? Where's the coverage? And finds an open spot, right? And he slows down here a little bit too. He doesn't run right towards the sideline. He says, okay, I'm just going to slow up. Where's the ball? And gives himself enough space to make a play and get that foot down.
Yeah.
It's actually an NFL catch. He's got that toe drag. So that's a good job.
We've
But
got two really good comments here I wanted to call out. So
mm,
the first one about from BK Harbaugh's game management has significantly improved. That's Matt Weiss, man, 100%. So Matt Weiss was the game strategy coordinator, whatever weird title he had when he was in Baltimore. And when he first came here as QB coach, his primary role was that, right? They've gone through every scenario analytically, what they would do if and what. So come game time versus, before, Harbaugh's on the headset talking to passing game coordinator, run game coordinator. They're going back and forth trying to figure out what they want to do. Call timeout. They already know what they're going to do in these situations now because of Matt Weiss's analytical prowess. So I think that was a huge change we saw in 2021 with plays coming in quicker and these decisions, like you're saying, the game management getting better, and only expect that to get better now with him in his OC role. And then what was the other comment I liked about Cade with his problem with his tendencies? What do you think about that? Because that was kind of a hypothesis with Georgia, right? Was Georgia just figured out, look, he's going to stick with his first read. So if we put a lot of pressure on him and make that tough, he's going to make mistakes. Is Cade's drop off this year? I mean, I don't know that these teams are talented enough to expose tendencies with them, or is it just, the mental part of the battle and knowing that he's got this split matchup with JJ, or did teams figure Cade out? Do you think there's any truth to that?
I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
I think Cade got pretty unlucky in this game in general, where there were just a few sacks where, I mean, there were some plays here where JJ McCarthy saw some pressure, but not to the same level of Cade McNamara. There were a few plays where there was pressure on McNamara on his first read, or just coming off of his first read to his second read.
Yes.
There were three plays absolutely that Cade came across that. And then I do think, knowing that, hey, a couple of these drives haven't gone well, right? I haven't made too many plays down the field. I think he was feeling pressured to make that play. And on that pick, he 100% forced it. So I think it's both. I think it's both getting a little bit unfortunate on just some of those sacks and lapses in pass protection, and then him feeling the pressure a little bit and feeling that he had to make a play, which is extremely uncharacteristic of him. So I think he's been unlucky, especially in this game. I mean, there were a couple of those drives where it was 3rd and short, and he handed the ball off, right? And I think that's a case where, if that's JJ McCarthy with his skill set, maybe it would have been an arc read, right, where you give the quarterback a chance to keep the ball and run it, where that's just not the style of Cade McNamara, and that works against him as well in those scenarios without a guy like Haskins. So it's tough. I think this is still a team where Cade McNamara with the right scenario could still find a lot of success. But I mean, it's a case where JJ McCarthy, as you mentioned, is doing a lot of those little things that we knew Cade to do well. He's starting to show that, hey, he can do those too, and just his skill set brings a little bit more to the offense overall.
Yeah, absolutely. Really well said.
So that's kind of it here.
Sweet.
Let's I want to get your thoughts on Davis Warren as well, because he had a really nice crossing route to Max Bredesen, threaded the needle on that pass. What are your thoughts on him, and not only like his play, but his like future within the program as well?
It's tough. So first off, Davis Warren's story is incredible, right? This is a kid that beat leukemia. And I mean, the fact that he's even out there playing football for a Big Ten program right after what he's been through is impressive. And everything we've heard from players, staff, people around the program, anybody that's ever met him, is what a great kid he is. So Michigan is very fortunate to have him in the quarterback room, and it's just awesome to see him, doing well and getting these opportunities and excelling at them. Yeah, long term, there's a path where Davis Warren is the very likely backup next year, because you got to assume Cade's going to pursue an opportunity to start somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And then there's a chance Davis Warren's the starting quarterback for this team at some point down the road, right? Depending on when JJ goes and what commits come in and where Michigan feels. Now, Warren also probably has an opportunity to transfer this offseason and be a starter at a program as well. So it's really going to depend on his priorities and what he wants to do and what he wants to accomplish. But in terms of head on the shoulders and talent potential, I'd love to see him stick around in Ann Arbor, and I think he'd be a valuable piece in the room as a backup and as a potential starter, 24, 25, something like that.
I have a really hot take about Davis Warren. I think in 2 years, so the 2024 season, Davis Warren will be a top 15 quarterback in college football. I am 100% calling that out. I don't know if it'll be for Michigan. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but I think he will. Because this ability right here to deliver that ball, that
is a stupid throw.
You can't. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that can do that, and he looked comfortable doing it. All right, like again, you can say it's Hawaii, you can say it's whatever, but this is
this is the angle. Right here.
This is a confident. That's a confident throw. That is on the money. He was on track to be a pretty highly rated quarterback early on his high school career.
That's what I was going to say. It's tough to project now, and it's not a game we want to play necessarily. But he probably would have been a high 4, star level recruit, and who knows where he would have ended up. So again, I'm going to be a Davis Warren fan, whatever he decides.
Yeah.
But top 15, I love it. I'm like sitting here like, yeah, he could probably start somewhere. And you're like, no, top 15 QB in college football. But
I think he's going to be a guy, man. I think he is.
I brought up with Dennis today talking about JJ. We've gotten into a lot of the mechanics and X's and O's. There is something everybody says, and I don't know how to explain it, the it factor, right? Like some dudes just have it. JJ has it. And there's something, dude, Davis has got it too, I think, man. We haven't seen him in anything more than some mop-up duty like this, but there's just something about, even in the spring game, just the way he carried himself. And you're right, like this is a big time throw, man.
The ability to confidently step into this throw right now, right? This is reading this safety. This is reading the body language of 17 right here, to confidently step into that and deliver. It's a strike, and it's also like a perfectly placed ball. So like, again, I think Cade McNamara could do extremely well if he needs to step into action. I think he just had mentally, he was kind of out of it. I think if he needs to step in, I think he can. I think Davis Warren, I think he's still green. He probably just needs more experience, a couple of years, and I think he'll for sure be there. And then you got Alan Bowman. We didn't get to see him in this game, but like, you take Michigan's 4 quarterbacks in McCarthy, McNamara, Warren, and Bowman, and you tell me there's a better quarterback depth chart right now in college football.
Yep.
I'll say you're crazy, because I think 2 of those guys have the potential to be, one's already a championship quarterback. J.J. McCarthy has the ability to do so. I think Davis Warren is probably a year away from being able to lead it, but he's got the talent to do something like this, and it'll just take time. They got Alan Bowman with his just years of experience and just his, he wasn't a slouch in his previous program. So I don't know, man. I'm excited about it. I'm obviously excited J.J. McCarthy won the job with his ability. He's showing a lot of things that Cade McNamara does well on top of his athletic ability. And then you got guys like this who can just, if that's your 3rd string quarterback or 4th string quarterback, you're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I've touched on it a little bit, but, Harbaugh's a big character guy. And there's been quarterback competitions before, and there's been guys with talent before who had maybe some questionable. Look, Cade's the first, captain at quarterback under Jim Harbaugh. I think that's a big statement. And JJ probably will be one. JJ is a great leader, great head on his shoulders as well. Davis is great. It's a very talented room and a lot of character in there. It's the best spot Michigan's been in since, Jimmy's been here for sure.
Yeah.
And Bredesen snaps this off. So awesome.
Love it. All right. Any final thoughts? We're kicked out of here in 3 minutes. Any final thoughts for you, Trevor?
No, big picture, I think, JJ somehow exceeded expectations, right? But I think what you said very on in the beginning of this is so true. Seeing that calmness from him and kind of that control, that was really good to see. But it was a good mixture of big time throws, smart throws, check down throws, and we'll see what happens with UConn if they continue to let him loose a little bit, but yeah, you can see the potential of this offense taking a big next step for sure.
Absolutely. And for me, it's just about just continuing on, right? UConn's not great either. Just continuing on. Get JJ through those progressions. Get him in scenarios where he's uncomfortable and how does he react. And you can only learn from those real reps. Practice tells you some things. A real game will tell you exactly what you need to know for the future.
I think that's what made this odd situation that Harbaugh did so great.
Yeah,
We got game situation, right? So
absolutely.
well, Toski, this was awesome, man. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to do more of these guys, and we'll keep you up to date online. You know, again, remember Maize and Blue Review on YouTube. Subscribe, like the video. We're gonna try and post these. I don't think we've locked in on Monday or Tuesday yet. We'll figure that out for sure and try and make sure we have a good, consistent time for you guys. Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate all the comments and the interaction. I think it's exactly what we were looking for. So yeah, again, you know, we're with Maize Blue Review, Michigan Rivals. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube. Podcasts will be on Apple and Spotify as well. I'm Trevor McHugh. Toski, man, thank you again. And then, yeah, we'll see you guys next week with some footage from Michigan and UConn.
Absolutely. All right. Take care, everybody. Go Blue.